harness the potential of the multidimensional vulnerability index. MDI is a powerful tool which would assess countries' vulnerability to external shocks to help them enhance their adaptive capacity. In turn, this initiative would contribute to Beyond GDP, a system of measurement which would capture not only the economic but also the social and environmental aspects of national well-being, measuring not only flow but also wealth, not only growth of income but also distribution of income and inequalities. In the General Assembly, we have organized briefings with eminent scientists and academics to raise awareness of the Beyond GDP metric. And in December, member states in the General Assembly formally recognized zero waste as a transformative solution to achieving the SDGs. Framework for measuring more data on and better insight into challenges we are trying to solve. We are in a new chapter of history. We face complex crises demanding that we radically transform the way we think and act, how we produce, use, and preserve. It is true for tourism as it is for every sector, large and small, from north to south, from east to west. I hope this meeting will help to clarify how we can make tourism more regenerative, nature positive, and beneficial for all, so that we could all explore this wonderful planet with a clear conscience. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Your Excellency. I think this is really setting the scene in a beautiful way. And we are extremely privileged as well to welcome Her Excellency Ms. Lacerasa Stove, President of the Economic and Social Council and of 3 days and the 3 days ministerial segment of the HLPF convened under the auspices of the ECOSOC. Madam, we eagerly anticipate your opening remarks as we highly value your insights and leadership in guiding the work of the ECOSOC and the HLPF. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much. It is a pleasure to be here today, especially because this event is a result of one conversation that started last year with the Minister of Croatia. And I'm grateful to the other co-organizers of the event, the World Tourism Organization, Jamaica and Spain. Tourism is a powerful engine of economies and livelihoods, providing opportunities for women, young people, and traditionally marginalized communities. It forms the bedrock of many countries' economies, especially small island developing states. It can provide the spark to inspire entrepreneurs and innovators from all parts of society, thus contributing to the attainment of the Sustainable Development Goals. Yet, the data on SDG progress, as laid out in the special edition of the Secretary General's report on progress towards the SDGs, is sobering. At the halfway mark to 2030, only about 15% of the SDG targets are on track to be reached by 2030. Despite the Paris Agreement, carbon dioxide levels continue to rise to a level not seen before, and vast numbers of species worldwide are threatened with extinction. Should current trends continue, 575 million people will still be living in extreme poverty in 2030. We are confronted by the inequalities and environmental degradation that plague our world today in business as usual tourism. Unsustainable consumption, including plastics use and high emissions transport, cause damage to host countries' biodiversity, local heritage and culture, posing tough challenges to policymakers. People are often happiest, most hopeful when they travel. Travelers seek new vistas and new experiences, and they're ready to reimagine their own reality. They can be allies in transformation, embracing a new sustainable lifestyle while they are traveling and maintaining their mindset and these behaviors when they return home. Travel inspires, it breaks down barriers, it spurs creativity. How fitting then that the industry is taking bold steps to reimagine its business practices. The Goa Roadmap for Tourism as a vehicle for achieving the Sustainable Development Goals outlines 5 key areas for action: green tourism, digitalization, skills tourism, MSMEs, and destination management. Under the Indian G20 presidency, discussions of this roadmap are identifying many areas for constructive action in different regions and different types of tourism, from ecotourism to cruise tourism and beyond. Partnerships will be essential. Private sector businesses, host countries, governments, international and civil society organizations, and local communities all have a role to play.
There are many SDGs that intersect directly with tourism, including the Sustainable Transport Goals contained in SDGs 3, 7, 9, 11, and 12, as well as targets in SDGs 8, decent work and economic growth, 12, responsible consumption and production, and 14, life below water. Sustainable food systems, education, and gender empowerment are also building blocks for sustainable tourism. I encourage you to think outside the box and identify ways to collaborate across sectors and with other stakeholders to work together to make economic, social, and environmental sustainability in tourism a reality. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam. Very inspiring, and I think that you already set the scene with the President on where we should be leading to. It is with great pleasure that I will introduce now our esteemed speakers for today's high-level roundtable. To unlock the full potential of tourism, it is imperative to go beyond measuring its impact only on the economic side, and usually practiced based on GDP. Through this approach, we aim to accelerate the implementation of ambitious policies and foster innovative business models, ultimately rethinking tourism governance. And I think it is all about that.
I think we have a great opportunity to rethink tourism governance. As the COVID had a profound impact on the sector, with arrival plumbering over 70% in 2021, it had a direct contribution to tourism GDP, nearly halved from 4.2% in 2019 to 2.4% in 2020. And that had as well an immense impact on societies and the planet. As the sector slowly recovers, with a global recovery rate of 80% in the first quarter of 2023, it has faced several challenges. These include labor shortages, multiplied geopolitical complexities, natural disasters, and high inflation, among others. In the face of these challenges, policy is key, but alone is not sufficient. We also need reliable and comprehensive data. Scientific evidence provides us with a clear understanding of our current situation, inspires us to envision where we want to go, and help us to agree on how we can get there. During our discussion, we will highlight significant international development that harness the power of data to shape innovative policy, transform business models, and promote effective tourism governance. These include, as you rightfully mentioned, Madam, the Goa Roadmap, for which UNWTO was a knowledge partner, but I will leave the Minister of India to touch upon that aspect. Drawing insights from the recently launched UNWTO JICA joint publication, Achieving the SDGs through Tourism, a toolkit of indicators which are providing the capacity to measure impacts of all 17 SDGs through tourism, enables us to access and track progress effectively. We will also hear about the advancement of a global standard for measuring the sustainability of tourism, which President Chosba just mentioned. MST is an exemplification of moving beyond GDP and has gained recognition in the HLCP core group on Beyond GDP paper, Valuing What Counts, which form part of the basis of the UN Secretary General, our Common Agenda Policy Brief number 4. That will feed conversation leading up to the Summit of the Future. MST will be presented to the United Nations Statistical Commission in February 2024, representing a significant step
forward as measurement is a vital aspect of effective management. It is crucial for ministries of tourism to engage with their respective national statistical institute to maximize the opportunity presented by the MST. And last and not the least, UNWTO is leading research based on the MST, the elaboration of an ESG framework for tourism businesses. The ESG landscape is complex and fragmented, lacking a specific ESG framework tailored to the unique nature and needs of the tourism sector. Through collaboration with the private sector and academia, our aim is to co-design a comprehensive reference framework that consolidates existing good practices. Today, we have the honor of hearing from esteemed policy leaders who are at the forefront of driving the transformation of tourism in their respective countries. These leaders are instrumental in harnessing the potential of tourism to accelerate progress towards the SDG. Dear friends, please join me in extending a warm welcome to our distinguished speakers. I would like to welcome His Excellency Ms. Nikolina Brnjac, Minister of Tourism and Sport of the Republic of Croatia, co-hosting this high-level. Minister Brnjac, we applaud Croatia for its strong commitment to sustainable tourism since the beginning of your mandate. Croatia has played a leading role in the UNGA process for the tourism resolution in December 2022. We are interested to learn more about how Croatia's efforts in sustainable tourism are connected to supporting the achievement of the SDGs. Specifically, we would like to understand how are you spearheading the transformation of Croatia into a sustainable destination by securing a robust legal framework and attracting investment. Madam, the floor is yours.
Thank you, dear Zorica. Honorable Mr. Koroshi, Honorable Ms. Stelova, Honorable Ministers, Permanent Representatives, ladies and gentlemen, dear guests, allow me first of all to thank the colleagues from the UNWTO for co-organizing this event, and also allow me to welcome other distinguished guests who are participating in this discussion today. I think it is very important to give more spotlight to tourism, like Zorica mentioned at the beginning, at this forum, bearing in mind the fact that our sector is the third largest export category globally, providing millions of jobs around the world.
Tourism is also a very important part of the Croatian economy. During the last pre-pandemic year, tourism has a direct share of 11.8% of GDP, and when you look at its direct and indirect contribution, it's about 19.5%. Before we started the tourism reform in 2021, Croatia had a very unevenly developed tourism, with the majority of tourism activities concentrated in the coastal area during a few summer months. Labor market, accommodation, catering facilities were adapted to seasonality and extensive tourism in the narrow coastal strip. While working on the strategy, we were aware that tourism, as noted in Goa roadmap, can and should contribute to achieving all 17 Sustainable Development Goals. Our strategy was adopted last year with the following 4 strategic goals. First, a year-round and regionally balanced tourism. Second, tourism with preserved environment, space, and climate. Third, competitive and innovative tourism. And the fourth, resilient tourism. Allow me to outline the goals where we expect the strongest contribution to the strategy of SDGs. We expect strong contribution to tourism reform to Goal 8, decent work and economic growth, through development of year-round tourism, which should result in an increase in the number of quality jobs in the sector and a reduction in fixed-term employment contracts. This will especially contribute to the empowerment of the groups that make up a majority of workforce in the sector, namely women, SDG, gender equality and young people, people with lower educational qualification, will contribute to the stimulation of economic growth, development, and income generation through the creation of jobs and reduction of poverty. Encouraging the development of micro, small, and medium entrepreneurs will contribute to the creation of preconditions for dignified work, economic growth, and positive socio-economical effects.
Furthermore, on the 4 pillars of our strategy, tourism with preserved environment, space and climate, strongly contributes to Goal 6, clean water and sanitation, 7, affordable and clean energy, 13, climate actions, 14, life below water, as well as Goal 15, life on land. Finally, we expect that emphasis on developing tourism in continental and rural parts, as well as islands, will contribute to the expansion of the tourist offer and the reduction of seasonality, and will affect the better living conditions on the local
populations and thereby continue to Goal 10, and that is reduced inequality. The Tourism Act, which enters into force early 2024, will create a legislative framework for data collection, measuring the effects of tourism and managing tourism based on measurable data. We will develop a satellite account for sustainable tourism, measuring not only direct and indirect contributions of tourism to the Croatian economy, but also the costs and negative effects that tourism has on environment, on nature and cultural heritage, and the quality of life of residents. Since there are large disparities in the tourist development of Croatian regions, we will also develop regional satellite accounts, especially for the coastal area. Management of tourism development will be decentralized and adapted to local and regional development needs and their resource base. The Act will ensure the participation of the local community in developing destination, and that is the local population and government will be provided with tools to mitigate and negative impact of tourism
on the environment, including the possibility of charging a special environmental fee. We have anticipated the possibility precisely because of the carbon footprint that tourism creates. The environmental fee will be income of local governments, and the funds will be directly into improving environmental conditions. The Act will also include a framework for investment in incentives in tourism based on sustainability criteria. As a country with a very strong nautical tourism, we are very proud that we will have for the first time incentives for the investments in sustainable nautical tourism. We expect that all these measures foreseen by Act will contribute to the economic, environmental and social resilience of urban and especially rural and island destinations, as well as the companies operating in the tourism industry. In line with that, we expect that the implementation of this Act will strongly contribute to the implementation of the Sustainable Development Agenda in Croatia. We have also secured financing for projects that correspond to our strategic goals until 2030 in amount around 1.3 billion euros from national and from the EU budget. And the investments are in a way aimed at developing health and active tourism, valorization of natural and cultural heritage, green and digital transition in small and medium businesses, a trend through grants available for small, medium and large entrepreneurs. This is the biggest strategic investment in the history of Croatian tourism, and the investments will result in infrastructure construction and reconstruction in accordance with the highest environmental standards, as well as the improvement of accessibility, education, research and development of technology that will help reduce the negative impacts of the environment and the communities of tourism. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Your Excellency, for a visionary approach, and a very good luck for your presentation on behalf of the Government of Croatia of the National VNR next week at the HLPF. We have the pleasure now to welcome His Excellency Sri Kishan Reddy, Minister of Culture, Tourism and Development of the North, Minister of the Government of India. Congratulations on the successful presidency of the G20 and the recent meeting in Goa. We just met a few weeks ago. G20 economies represent 74%
of international tourism. India has demonstrated its commitment to driving positive change in the tourism sector. And as you see, Excellency, reference to the Goa roadmap is already making its way in New York. We are eager to hear about India's vision as the chair of the G20 Tourism Working Group and how tourism can contribute to accelerating progress towards the SDGs. Specifically, we are interested in learning about the key elements of the Goa Roadmap of Tourism as the vehicle for achieving the SDGs, and how is India advancing the Sustainable Development Goals, including any notable initiative or strategy that have been implemented. Your Excellency, the floor is yours.
Thank you, ma'am. Respected His Excellency, Mr. Chaba Kurishi, President United Nations General Assembly, Her Excellency, Mr. Lasjera Stoyeva, President of United Nations Economic and Social Council, all the participants, honorable ministers from different nations, World Tourism and Sustainable Audience, good afternoon, one and all. Friends, in the spirit of the theme of India G20 presidency of Vasudhaika Kutumbam, that means
world is one family. That is one earth, one family, one future. The vision of India as the chair of G20 Tourism Working Group, it is support to transformation of tourism towards a more sustainable and resilient and inclusive future for all. Under India G20 presidency, 5 interconnected priority areas in the tourism sector were identified. These priorities are key building blocks for accelerating
the transition of the tourism sector and achieving the targets for 2030 SDGs. The 5 priorities areas including green tourism. The tourism sector in the India is focusing a sustainable infrastructure, reducing emissions, involving local population, promoting innovations in this regard, and the line up with the Travel for Life program, promoting tourist-led actions for responsible consumption. Second, digitalization. Tourism sector is aiming for digitalization, the visitor journey through one single app, and the same time developing policies and regulations for privacy and data protection. Skills. India is focusing in upskilling, reskilling, and now skilling for the resilient tourism and developing forward-thinking skills, training, opportunities in tourism industry, especially for youth and women. MSMEs tourism. MSMEs continues more than 80% of tourism workforce, and India focuses on a traditional MSMEs to stay relevant with the time by digital and financial training and financial support. Participation women in self-help groups on social and economical development of women, especially in rural area. Many such women representatives are being trained to manage homestays and other tourist amenities. Women's involvement in community-based tourism not only results in their economic and social empowerment, but also helps preserve intangible heritage of the communities and ensures most authentic experience for the tourist. Friends, destination management. Rethinking the strategic management of destination towards a holistic approach that delivers on the SDGs,
involving all the stakeholders, making destination sustainable, resilient and inclusive. The Goa Roadmap for Tourism as a vehicle for achieving the Sustainable Development Goals is a pioneering global effort towards developing a tourism sector through a lens of sustainable development goals. It offers guidelines by outlining the priorities, opportunities, associated objectives, and key recommend actions. Friends, it is a pursuant to the note that earlier developments mostly centered around the
supply side, but a Goa roadmap offers a transitional shift from supply to demand side and follows a new approach. The Goa roadmap highlights the needs, sensitize the consumer side as well as responsible consumption. The new approach of the Goa roadmap focusing on promoting visitors-led actions for travel lifetime in life with a lifestyle for environment movement launched by our Indian Prime Minister Honorable Narendra Modi ji. Travel for Life program would act as action guide for tourist and tourism business to take responsible actions and make responsible demands. Travel for Life program contributes to achievements a most number of SDGs to promoting tourist-led actions for responsible consumption. Focus should be on conduct of awareness programs to nudge individuals, communities to practice of lifestyle that is synchronized with nature and aligned with the mission life. A notable feature of the G20 Indian Presidency 2023 Goa Roadmap is its commitment to promoting collaboration and engagement to leverage activities and position to tourism sector as a leader in collective progress towards the SDGs. Friends, India is actively advancing sustainable development goals through tourism, implementing various activities and strategies. In India, the Ministry of Tourism launched a national strategy for sustainable tourism. There are 7 key pillars on the strategy: promoting environment sustainability, promoting economical sustainability, protecting biodiversity, promoting social cultural sustainability, scheme for certification of sustainability tourism, information education, communication aiming to create awareness and sensitization of responsible travel through the Travel for Life, capacity building through skill development and entrepreneurship training. The Ministry of Tourism has launched the Travel for Life program, a sector program under Mission Life to promote sustainable tourism in the country. It defines the actions to be taken by tourists and the tourism business and bringing behavioral change to opt for the sustainable chances. The Ministry of Tourism has adopted the sustainable tourism criteria in India based on the global practices adopted to the needs of the country. The certification STCI will act as a guide tool for accommodation units, tour operators and destination to develop the tourism sustainable manner. India is also focusing on enhancing connectivity to important tourist destinations. The Ministry of Tourism is collaborating with the Ministry of Civil Aviation and all the line ministries as a whole of government approach. These initiatives has resulted in the operationalization of tourism routes, facilitating easier access to iconic sites and boosting tourism in those regions. In line with the digitalization drive, India leveraging technology to empower and hospitality and tourism industry. The National Integrated Database of Hospitality Industry initiative facilities re-registration and serves as a gateway opportunities for hospitality unities. It enables to industry to connect with the government, share best practices and access various services contributing to ease of doing business. This Thanks to the organizations, India is committed for sustainable tourism and green tourism. Thank you very much. Jai Hind.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. We know very much the commitment for the nation that is the most populated on earth. So your action will be bold and will have a huge impact.
Let me now welcome His Excellency Mr. Edmund Bartlett, Minister of Tourism from Jamaica.
We commend Jamaica for its pivotal role in the UNGA resolution in February 2023
on establishing an International Day for Resilient Tourism, building upon the UNGA resolution of December 22 on sustainable and resilient tourism. Jamaica's valuable perspective as an ocean economy and as seeds adds significant weight to the tourism sector. In light of your dedication to